Hello there and welcome to Schedule 1, and today we're going to show you how to manage to set up your botanists and get your farm working for your pot farm or your coke farm respectively with the new dynamics of having those heaters, which will speed up your growth and speed up the drying times on there. So let's get started on managing your botanist. It's pretty easy to do. We have lockers now, much better than beds. You just click on the locker, click on the supplies, go to there, and that's pretty simple. I click on your supplies, and then you assign them to their different jobs, and they can work up to 8 jobs. And drying is a job. Don't forget that. So if your botanists aren't working and you're wondering why, you have to actually have them assigned to the actual drying rack to get them to work. So you got drying racks as one of their jobs, and mushroom beds, and so on and so forth for that. So yeah, make sure that you're setting them up there. And for my setup, I got 3 botanists. One botanist doing 8 plants, and the other one doing 8 plants, and then the other botanist doing 8 drying racks. And I'm doing 2 pots per drying rack. So you can click on this one here, then click on that one there, setting them up there. You set the seeds, you set whatever fertilizers you're going to be using or additives, and you assign them to the drying racks. And if you're just doing regular pots as versus coke, then you want to probably do it 2 for 1 for sure. I know the old system was a 3 to 1, but we have these heaters right here, and then you can check them out there. You can see where's my couch button? There we go. There you go. You can see that little green part right there. It says +2 for the green. That is what the heaters are doing. They're making their temperature is nice, good, and they're growing a lot faster for it. So there you go. That is what that is doing. And of course you use the best lights. And as for the pots themselves, I'm using the ones that hold the water because that means your workers are spending a lot less time watering them all, especially with the higher growth rates. And so if you're not using these pots and you're using the best ones, they're supposed to be the best ones, your workers are going to get bogged down watering and not planting new seeds. Then your thing isn't going to be as efficient. If your workers, for example, could use these little sprinklers right here, which aren't necessary, so you don't need these sprinklers at all in this system. This is just for me because filling up space, right? Because I got the extra space in here because I needed a space of 2 for the heaters, the garbage thing in there if you wanted to do that. But yeah, they don't actually activate these sprinklers. So if they did, then that other pot would be something I'd be using. But they don't. They run around there with their watering cans instead. So that's what you have to remember about this stuff. So you don't really need this stuff. This is just to fill up the space. Basically, it's not needed. But anyways, the other setups is pretty much the same. 2 of these things to 1, and then we can go over to the drying racks. And I'm doing coke. So for coke, for example, I want this stuff to be gold quality, of course, get the quality bonus. I want the threshold to be 20 because they cook 20 at a time. It is just a lot simpler for him to do, and especially when he's got 8 jobs. And this stuff, I'm trying out with the fertilizer on there. So it's starting off at purple quality. It's going to go to gold quality really quickly because we got these 2 little heaters right here that are pretty close together to make sure everything is as maximum heat, as high as heat as possible, even though that probably doesn't matter. I think it's got like a threshold in there of it's got to be at least like 36 degrees or something like that, maybe, to get the maximum heat value. You can go there and test it out yourself easily enough by picking up the heater and moving it around and something, and checking out your pots and having the heat thing on there and seeing where the heat is, what the heat's going to be, and seeing if you get the 2 green bonus. And if you get that double green bonus, then it's going to be good enough. You can test it out that way, and then you could use that same dynamic for the drying rack for yourself, for an example, because that would probably be the same value, right, for the heat value. Then you can find out that value for yourself. It's not really that important to me. I just spam heaters and I'm done with it. But anyways, setting up your lockers, that should be something you should remember to do too. Pretty easy to do. Just go over here to the filter here, click on that one there to whitelist it, and then you just go there and add your ingredients, like coke, for example, and then you can come to here and apply the siblings, which applies it to everything. And then if you want to do individual ones, you just delete it and add it and that type of thing. Just like X and add fertilizer, then copy the filter, then paste the filter to do that. And then you do that to all your different ingredients. Like you see the gas right here does that. So your delivery guy comes in there, and your worker says it gets assigned to like the workstation, for example, this little work stall for your delivery guy. He'll just come in there and to deliver it to here, but he'll only deliver what's in here. Basically, he won't deliver the other stuff. And if he has another delivery job, deliver stuff in this one here, for example, that means you can keep using the same thing over and over again. But the rest of the system is pretty easy to set up. For this, I got 2 drying racks set up for 1 coke, 1 cauldron, and then that's that. 8 of these, and I got 4 cauldrons. Really damn simple to do the rest of it and set it up there. Now all these cauldrons are going over to this mixing machine, and then the mixing machines are going to be running. And you don't need mixing machines, but I got 8 of them running there to get the optimal mix out of it, which isn't needed, by the way. I know that, so don't worry about that. You don't need to worry about having a mix like that. It's just I'm doing doing it just for fun, you can get away with just making OG Kush and without mixing it at all, and you will make the same amount of experience, and you'll make the same amount of money at the end of the day, and you'll probably be making more money at the end of the day because I'm wasting a lot of money on those ingredients and stuff like that. So at the end of I think at the end of the day, you're really better off just making the OG Kush, and that's that. It makes it a lot more simpler too. But for me, I like to have a little bit of fun and do a little bit of different things in there, and you also get experience by mixing different things. So when it push comes to shove, I can go in there and keep mixing all these different ingredients in different orders and getting new recipes off of each one and get more experience for each one that I do. And there's a lot, because this recipe right here is 8 ingredients, and that's the most efficient one. If you add 9 ingredients, your profit value goes up by a smaller amount. It gets cut in half after 8, and 8 is a good number because that 2 chemists working on that makes 8 machines. So it's a good, nice round number, and it fits nicely in my little barn right here because I got 10 workers and they're all working. I just don't have like a garbage picker anymore because I added the other cook in there. But there you go. That's the recipe 735 for that thing, and that's the recipe in the order that you do it. And yes, it uses Coke twice for some reason, or its version of Coke, and this is other Coke. You know what I mean. But anyways, that is the recipe in the order that it's in, and I just wanted to share that with you in case you didn't want to bother going to that extra website there and finding out which recipe is best. This is the best recipe that says it's the best for the highest price on there. So yeah, you can get a lot of money off of that one there. It's also pretty simple. You can just run around with a baggie, sell 1 or 2 baggies at a time, and make the maximum profit off the guys that way too. Versus running around there with bricks of stuff. It's the same shit, different pile. It's not really needed. But anyways, that is the setup I have, and that's my lesson on the heaters and all the other stuff. Just to remind you, if you're coming back to this game with the new stuff, and like how do I set up my heaters properly in some type of efficient manner. Of course, you can set yourself. You set it up in a different way if you want to. Of course, it's just the basics. You got the basics. Hopefully, you learned enough of them to get by for your little drug operation. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later.